and that's its sort of point of reference, is just a single number. So this scope is scope number 11. Now that number is on that little tag there. Sometimes you'll also see that it's on a barcode on there, and sometimes you'll find it on a little disc, a white disc, plastic disc, and the numbers on that. Or sometimes it's on a longer tag with a number and a barcode on it. I bet you've got numbers and barcodes.
They're very well.
Yeah, you've got the lot.
Yes.
Excellent. Yeah. Okay. So the scope is the machine recognises the scope by that individual number, right? And do you remember that Nigel talked about the fact that it does a test to make sure that you've got all the connectors on properly at the beginning of the cycle? Yeah. Okay. If the connectors are on properly or not, how does it know what to look for? Well, it knows what to look for by what we're doing with the auto. So when you get a new scope, or when you get a scope back from repair, or a loan scope, you need to carry out this process to introduce the scope to the machine, so that it then will go ahead and process it. Any other time that you would do it? Yeah, so there you go. So those pillars match into those little ports, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's easy. Once you've connected on, you can then put the tubing into the correct port. All these colours with the right port on the side. And then also make sure that because training on the type of scopes that you've got and the connectors that are required. And you'll also find that you've got information in your department for the types of scopes and what connectors you put on. What we're doing now. So other scopes that have less channels and are less complex are easier to connect up. So they're all different depending on the complexity of the scope.
And is there something to keep on top if we're not using all the holes?
Yeah.
Or is something to put on the top? Or
No.
just leave them all?
No, when they're open, when they're left like this,
Yes.
well, they're not, they've all got some in. Okay, so when you take the connectors out, let's just use this other keep going down in there. So when you take those out, those ports are all closed. Right, and they're not in use. And if you're not telling the machine to use that level, it won't even start to try to put any water through. It knows that you're actually only using the top level. Okay. So we're going to actually do this training in this introduction type program. And what we're going to do is have the machine run water through each channel, one after the other, and take a reading of the flow of the water going through the channel. And then it takes those flow rate readings and puts those in its memory about that scope and keeps them there. Right? And then when it comes to what, I'm not going to go out and carry on until you get it right. Generally, it's because you haven't got the connectors on properly, which is really, really important. Okay, so what we would do first then is connect up the scope properly, and we know we're happy that we've connected up properly. And then you've just got to follow the instructions, okay? The instructions are in your book. I think it's page 17, I think. You will also, you would just press start, okay? So now on the screen it says Program 1, and Program 1 is flashing, okay? Program 1 is in fact the wash cycle. And we're not ready to wash this scope yet, we've still got to introduce it. So we don't want Program 1, we've got to do a special cycle where we need to put a code in to do it. In order to put a code in, you've got to go to Program 0, right? And if you change that to 0, because that's flashing, you can change it. And then you press start, it then will ask you for an access code, right? And the access code is 0425. And that's on your instruction sheet, right? And that then will then take you into a different sort of function. And this is what we want to do, this function, this Ultra Apprentice. So it says that at the top, and then it starts giving you instructions. On each screen, it will give you prompts to go through to do the right thing. So on this one it says, this is a French translation. It says put upper endoscope at place. What that actually means is put it at the top level. Okay, which we've done. Okay, so that's fine. So we press start, and then it says connect the channels of the scope, which we've done. We're okay, we're happy that we've connected it all up, so press start again. It then asks you how long you want the blowing time at the end of the cycle to be, because at the end of the cycle it blows air through the channels to dry the channels, and it asks you how long that phase you want to set. Well, actually with this we don't really need it, because we're actually then going to go on and we're going to wash it, so we don't need to be drying the channels.